not blocking them so they can see how well you're doing just goes to show that you're not over them. Besides keeping them unblocked, even though they hurt you so they can see how well you're doing, overall checking and stalking the people who have either removed themselves or you've removed them from your life just kind of goes to show that there's a disconnect in your healing. And if you're stalking their social media accounts or whatever way you're stalking them, or you're keeping them unblocked so they can see what you're doing and see how well you're doing, and you're checking your story to see if they see what you're doing, then you're in denial about whether or not you still care. Because if you're unbothered, if you don't really care about them anymore and it doesn't really matter what they're doing, why do you care so much? Answer me quickly. If you don't care and you're over them, why does it matter if they see how well you're doing? Why does it matter if they're doing bad? Why does any of that matter to you in the first place? Where's my answer? Yeah, just ponder on that for a second while we continue to converse. If you came up with some sort of answer or excuse that's like, oh, well, they hurt me so bad, they did me so dirty that they don't deserve to get blocked, they should see how good I'm doing now that I'm done with them and I'm over with them. Why do they still get access to your life after hurting you if they did you so dirty? If they made such negative impact on your life, you shouldn't want them to have any access to what you're doing. I think the best revenge is for them not to even know. They're gonna live in frustration and envy because they're like, oh, I went to type in her Instagram to see what she's doing and she doesn't come up. Did she block me? Why did she block me? What was she doing? She got somebody new now. I guess you'll never know. And I think that's much better than them actually being able to keep tabs on you and see what you're doing. And the same goes for you. Why are you checking their Instagram and their accounts if they're someone who's no longer in your life? I think you just need to have a reality check and you need to grow up. How do you expect to grow and to heal and to become a better person if you're still stuck on them and what they did to you? You really need to be looking forward and not taking quick looks back, because even those quick looks back is messing up your traction, it's creating drag, it's slowing you down when you're trying to move forward. Ooh, aerodynamics and whatnot. I promise you that they will not be the first or last person to hurt you in your life. We're human beings and we have other emotions besides happiness and joy. There's lots of greed, anger, fear, jealousy, and other stuff going on. So it's almost guaranteed that someone else is going to hurt you in your life, because that's what human nature is. We'll never be able to escape that. It's just part of who we are. And even you will end up hurting other people, even if it's in your best intentions not to. So rather than get hung up on this one hurt, why don't you just dust yourself off and move on and look to the future? I'm trying to spit game to y'all, and my cat is here making noise. I'd very much appreciate it if you would knead bread not on a plastic bag. If you would really like to move on and grow as a person, you really need to detach yourself from the hurt and in the healthiest way possible, learn from it, grow from it, but don't continue to cling on to it. And part of clinging on to that is keeping that person unblocked, checking their social media, just doing all these things that is hurting you and is causing you pain. And you can't detach yourself from that pain if it's still afflicting you. You really need to learn how to detach yourself from that and to move on and look towards the present. Learning healthy emotional detachment is an incredible life skill that will help you to grow as a person while you go through life. And it will help you to become stronger, because then that's not going to hurt you as much. You're going to be able to reflect back on that hurt, a little further down the line when you're actually over it and not stalking their Instagram. And you'll be like, I can reflect back on this scenario and I don't feel anything. Like, I don't feel hurt anymore. I don't feel that pain in my stomach when I think about this now. And that's how you know, like, okay, like, I might be healed. I might be growing and becoming a better person. And if the relationship that you had, whether it was platonic, whether it was romantic one, if the relationship that you had a happy ending, and you're like, oh, well, that's why I haven't blocked them and stuff, then why are you still hung up over them? I won't give my 2 cents on the can you still be friends with your ex conversation, but what I will say is, if the relationship had a, like, you know, okay, like, this is amicable, like, let's just go about our lives and be different people because this wasn't working for one reason or another, and you don't have that thought of, oh, I want them to see how well that I'm doing, then, you know, that it makes sense why you haven't blocked them. There's no beef there. There's no, like, pain and agony there. But if you had a happy ending, but you're like, oh, I want them to see how good I'm doing, I thought it was a happy ending. You shouldn't want to hurt them with your success if it was a happy ending. What do you mean by that? Just a moment of reflection. But if it was toxic, baby, stop giving them access to your life and what you're doing and how you're, like, prospering and succeeding. Like, it should be that they're, like, hearing whispers of how good you're doing, but they can't even see for themselves. Like, they gotta send somebody else to look. They created that extra account to try and get a little peek at what you're doing. What possibly led you here? I don't think so. I don't think so. Then you can really just live in your success and peace and happiness, knowing that they are so distraught that they no longer have access to everything that you're doing. First of all, or second of all, I've been making a ton of points. Especially if this person is really toxic and harmful to you, baby, you do not want them knowing what you're doing. You're taking a flight, you know, oh, you're flying out to Atlanta or something. Baby, why do you want them to know that? That is a harm to you. You do not want that person to know where you are, where you're staying, where you be at. Immediately. Decline, block them. Okay? And then you also just have that extra bit of safety, just knowing that, okay, they can't find where I am. Like, I've denied them access from that. I am much safer going throughout my life and living and existing, knowing that they don't have access to see where I'm at, where I'm going, and any of the things that I'm doing in my life. And also, if it was really toxic and harmful to you, then that's even more of a reason to try and get over it quickly and heal from the situation as fast as possible. When you have a wound and you've hurt yourself or you've been hurt in some way, if that wound is infected and actively hurting you, you don't just gaze at the infection, you know, whenever you feel like reminiscing on the pain. You don't look at, like, oh, look at the blood and pus and stuff. Let me look at it even though I know this hurts me to look at it. No, baby, you get some isopropyl alcohol or some hydrogen peroxide, you clean it out, you slap some Vaseline on it if it's a burn wound, and otherwise you slap a Band-Aid on it and go about your day. You don't just let it fester and just continue to get worse. You don't just stare at it like, this really hurts, I'm gonna continue to look at it. Be serious now. Be so serious, baby. Clean it up, get some stitches if it was real bad, you know, consult medical professionals if it was real bad. But you gotta keep on moving and going throughout your life. I would like to say, true hotties have trouble recalling the name of people in their life, or people who were in their life who hurt them. Oh, do you remember that one friend that backstabbed you? That one friend who honestly I can't really recall. This was when was this again? High school. Oh, you know, I just really have a hard time remembering the people who've hurt me. I just Patricia, Pamela, right? What did she do again? See, I can't even remember. That's the craziest part. Yeah, no, I haven't thought about her, like, ever. That's so crazy that you would bring her up. What about her? What's she doing in life? Married. She was in a relationship? Wow. When was that? I wouldn't even know. I I don't even care if I'm gonna be truly and utterly honestly with you. I don't really check on, you know, people like that. No. Yeah. Do I remember who my ex who cheated on me? I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not ringing the bell. Do you, maybe if you bring up the name, Blake. I don't recall if I've been with a Blake, but you know, hope they're doing well. You know, I'm just doing well in my life, so I don't really check on people like that. Real funny that you remember those names though. You know, and you're like just living in your excellence and your glow, because you're like, I can't even, like, the neurons that were connected to that relationship and that pain and that they have died. You bring up that person, my brain's like, we burned those attachments. Those neurons, they weren't being used because you don't think about them. You don't think about that relationship. So why would we hold on to those memories and that pain and that, you know, everything that was hurting you? Once your brain has moved on, like, it's really over. If you have trouble recalling that person in that situation, baby, how you gonna hold on to the pain when your literal, your microbiology has let go of it? There's nothing topping that. Baby, you have fully put that to rest. And anybody who keeps bringing it up, you might want to check on that relationship that you have with that individual and ponder on why they feel the need to bring up situations in which you were hurt repeatedly. Why are you holding on to that information? Yeah, check that. Seeking someone's validation even after your relationship is over with them is toxic, and it's harmful to you, no matter whether it's a toxic parent, an abusive ex, a backstabbing friend. If you're seeking validation from them even after you've, you know, ended that relationship with them, it's never going to end well. Like, you're seeking validation from someone who's actively harming you and who has intent to harm you. That's like, you know, you're running down the alley, there's a serial killer trying to kill you. It has the full intent to, like, stab you, and you're like, but wait, like, before you stab me, like, do I look good? Like, do I look like I'm doing okay? Would you be jealous of me? I'm trying to stab you. Yes, I know you want to stab me, but I still want to hear something good from you. Be so serious. I would stab you twice for that, because stop. It doesn't end well. Have some sense and love yourself. How can you say that you love yourself and you're trying to grow as a person and you continue to allow these sort of people to hurt you? Why do you need validation from them? Baby, you can get that from yourself. We've talked about this before. If you don't even like yourself, how do you expect to continue and go on in life? You're going to keep seeking validation from these people. If you can't go out and sit and enjoy your own presence, you have a problem. If you can't just sit and relax and be you without someone else attached to who you are, I'm not a therapist, but something's not right there. If you feel uncomfortable just going out and, you know, a little solo date, a little solo excursion, if you always feel the need to have, you know, another being, another entity, you know, unless it's for safety reasons, then of course, you know, we're not all in safe neighborhoods or places or whatnot. But if you're like completely in a safe, you know, setting, and you're like, oh, I need to go here with so and so, why you can't go by yourself? But you know, I rest my case. Life is honestly so much more satisfying and enriching when you satisfy yourself, when you can be dependent on yourself, and when you're no longer dependent on other people to feel good, because now you no longer need to rely on someone else and their availability and how they're feeling and yada 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 to make yourself feel good and better and at peace. You can just do that for yourself whenever you need it. You can self-regulate your own emotions and well-being. If you really want to feel like that girl, that guy, that yada yada yada, you can't keep doing something that hurts you, and you can't keep acting, thinking, and feeling in these harmful ways, especially if the person that you're stalking or allowing access, you know, or continuing to allow access into your life has moved on and is doing better, you're going to find yourself comparing yourself and putting yourself down because of how well they're doing. You know, this assumption that, oh, they're going to do bad now that they're done with me. Baby, some people do the evilest things and then go on to like win the lotto, go on a cruise, meet Beyonce, and live their best life. You can't expect that they're going to be, you know, going through their downfall. They might be on the come up, in fact. So just opening up that opportunity for you to drag yourself down, to drag your own self-confidence and self-esteem down, really just doesn't make sense to me if you really want to be that girl, if you want to be that guy, if you want to be that person. Okay? You think Beyonce would do that? You think Beyonce would let somebody who treat her terribly allow access? Baby, you'd be blocked in every account. Beyonce's account, Jay-Z's account, what's the Ivy Park's account? Baby, she done got Adidas to block you. Like, Solange done blocked you. Kelly blocked you. You really just blocked by everybody. Like, you're not getting access to any part of her. Like, you're not even going to see the concert clips, as a matter of fact. MTV done blocked you. Everybody. No access. Like, fully denied. And just the thought of, oh, look who they've moved on to. Like, maybe I was never good enough for them. Like, oh, I'm so inferior. Who are they? Who are they for you to be like, oh, like, I'm not good enough for them. Like, they're superior to me. Baby, if you weren't with Beyonce herself, if you weren't with someone of that magnitude, and you're calling yourself inferior, you better have been with God himself, okay, for you to be saying that. Because that's literally just a regular civilian. That's just a man. Stop. Inferior to what? He has mommy and daddy issues. He's broke. It's literally just a man. What do you mean superior or inferior? Listen. Don't get me mad. Do not get me mad. If I ever heard that, oh, I don't think I was ever good enough for him. The time you are spending stalking their social media, you could be glowing up. You could be becoming stronger. You could be becoming healthier. You could improve that one makeup routine. You could be better at doing your hair. You could learn to do your nails. You could be gardening, reading, writing, reading self-help books, watching self-help YouTube videos. You could be frolicking. You could be eating good food. You could be watching a good show. There is so much you could be doing in that time. And you're choosing, maybe you could take a nap and you're choosing to stalk this person. Let's not, I know the circumstances in the world we're living on are very trying, but let's not act mentally deranged. Let's not do that to ourselves. It's just not the vibe. It's not the energy that we are bringing into 2023 or exiting 2020. It's just not the energy we ever want to have. Okay, maybe that was the energy during like peak COVID times, but we're looking upwards and onwards always. My question is, when you're thinking to yourself, oh, I should just take a peek at what they're doing, do you want to end up like every single alcoholic, mentally ill white woman in a 2000 social media based horror book who stalks her ex and then ends up like going clinically insane at the end of the book? Do you want to be the girl on the train? Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. And she was a white woman. You see how much she got away with? Baby, if you're not a white woman, you won't even get that full 300 chapters of being mentally ill. You got like 50 pages max and you're done. Like you don't even get that much. So let's have a bit more class. Let's have a bit more elegance. Let's have a bit more self-love. Let's love ourselves and actually heal and reflect and grow from these ex relationships that we used to have in our lives. You know, I'm already different from the person I was 5 minutes ago. So you should be different from the person you were while you were with said person, whether it was romantic, platonic, whatnot, you know? And, you know, a wise man once said, when you're starving, even leftovers look good to eat. Live free and stay hot, besties. Mwah.